Welcome back to another chill little live stream. Nice little sit back, relax, put this on, hopefully, somewhere in your room, maybe somewhere else. I don't know. It's up to you. And just chill out with me while I attempt to write a book. Now, of course, if you've seen any of the previous live streams, whether live or not, you'll know that, believe it or not, this is spoilers. So, if you don't feel like getting it spoiled and you want to read the book in its entirety whenever it comes out, which is hopefully estimate about end of this year is when I'll get into the publishing phase. Right now, I've completed part one. It's currently in draft one phase, which means that I have a whole bunch of people who are telling me that I make a lot of typos, which is par for the course. But once it's out of draft one phase, and it'll continue down the draft phase until eventually I and the editors are satisfied with it. Now, part two is what we're going to be working on today. At the making of this video, sitting at 299 pages, with a sum total count of 112,747 words. Now, that, of course, spans between all three books that I have written or been writing on so far. Right now, if you count from this right here is the end of part one, essentially. It's 239 pages. Ergo, once chapter 1 and 2 are done, which if you're a beta reader, you'll know. If not, I'm writing chapters 1 and 2 at the very end because I think artistically it makes sense. So once that is done, I'll have probably somewhere around 250, 260 pages, probably a little bit more for just part 1. Part 2 will probably be about the same. That being said, chapter 17 is the beginning of part 2. And it goes from there all the way to chapter 33. So that's what? 16 chapters? Which is, yeah. Wow. That mathed. All right, yeah. I guess each part is 16 chapters. I actually did not intend it to be that way. That just happened. So that works. But I've already been working a lot off camera. I haven't been streaming as much as I want to, mainly because I'll just start writing and then not even think about it. Or I'll be in a position where I can't record it, sadly. But for now, I want to be able to continue these historical documentations of a book that, who knows, maybe one day will become something. My mom likes it. That's really all I need. So I'm going to start with basically reading what I have on chapter 17, kind of breaking down what I want to do with it, because each chapter I've been kind of starting with a little bit of a blurb to be like, yeah, this is what I want to do with this, and this is how I want it to go, with like a little what's it called? Like a little synopsis, essentially, of where I want the story to go, how I want each chapter to break down. So let me make sure everything is set up here. Cool. Alright. Yeah, I have new background music, and I don't know what I think about it. Okay. For the sake of my sanity, I'm going to go ahead and turn it off. And you're just going to listen to my voice. Actually, we'll go ahead and... Nah, you're just going to listen to my voice. That sucks for you. But, you know, oh well. I don't think we really need background music. I'm adjusting my music on my end right now. Believe it or not, it's kind of good to write to music. So Chapter 17 is, again, these aren't working, these are like working titles, these aren't the actual titles. But starts off, I kind of like this artistic sweep of each of the motions and movements because it's like something that's going on outside of the norm, right? So in this case, it's a dream. So start off. It says thunder. Thunder booms outside. Lightning illuminates the inside of my prison cell. Shells land with a crack, echoing destruction. Gunshots ring out down the hall. Anarchy. Sweat slicks my forehead. Pardon. My eyes dart side to side. Thunder once more. Soon. Real soon. Shots get ever closer. Screams bounce off the walls. Here they come. I brace myself against the wall. Thunder. This time, it is man-made. Put a comma there. Light blinds me, flooding through my eyelids. Agony in my ears. Calamity in my eyes. Burning flesh in my nose. This day forever repeats. So, trying something. Get a little dreamscape going, essentially. And I wake in a cold sweat, panting. Frantically, I check the time. Barely 0230. Just a nightmare. Every time it is relived, the dream becomes more real. Always on the edge of my thoughts, creeping around the corners of my mind. My chest rises and falls, panic breathing making way for calm. Another nightmare? A soft voice asks from beside me. Yes. I fumble for my water on the nightstand and gulp it down eagerly. Rebecca sits up and rubs her eyes. Third time this week. Between gulps, I nod. Should we ask Dr. Phillip about it? She sees my grimace. I know how you feel about it, but he has helped in the past. At least think about it. I will. She looks at me with worry in her eyes. These last 2 years have only made that worry worse. I love you. Rebecca sighs and smiles. Her hair's a mess. I love you too. Be glad of that. Most girls would complain about being woken up all the time. Well, most girls do not get this nice of a bed. She chuckles and playfully stretches out over our large feather bed. So, just for reference, Part 1 and Part 2 are separated by a space of 2 years. There's 3 interludes that happen that will occur in that 2-year window, where one character has progression with their story. In this case, it's Rebecca. And then you're introduced to 2 other characters who will become very important later on in this book, and then especially in Book 3. Distantly, there's music playing. Turn the background music back on. I don't know if it's quite working the way it should. It also just could be blaring right now, and I would feel so bad. Alright, there we go. This is what I get for using royalty-free music. For some reason, when I'm using when I'm streaming, and it's going to my headphones for audio, it ruins the audio. I don't know if it's like the UI for the streaming or what, but I cannot listen to music through these headphones while I'm streaming, and I just learned that the very hard way. So we'll bear with. We'll see what happens. All right. I'll have to thank Click later. Her wink sends flutters in my chest. How did I get so lucky? Should we try to sleep, or are we giving up? Sleep. Long day ahead of us. We curl together, touching our foreheads, feeling the breath between us. In her, I find comfort. In me, she has stability. My mind keeps telling me it will not last, that it never has. Most nights I believe it, but moments like this remind me that it just might. Morning finds us quickly. Water from the faucet wakes me up, jolting me from the restless sleep. I shuffle over to the bathroom where Rebecca is brushing her teeth. My reflection shows the deep circles under my eyes. Thankfully, I also see the face of an angel in it, too. After the ordeal with Mr. Giardo, I finally grew the balls to officially ask Rebecca out. She said yes, and the rest is history. We moved in together about 6 months ago. Still no talks of marriage, thank goodness. With her, life is easier. Makes sense a little more. I've not done a contract since. Click is having a meeting over brunch in about an hour, and he requested our presence. Rebecca loves eating with Click and his wife. I prefer not cooking this early. Win-win. What do you think she'll make today? I absolutely love her quiche. It's metastasized. Rebecca says after setting down her toothbrush. Though I wouldn't mind something light. That's how it reads. She looks at me when I do not answer, but I am not paying attention. A text has my full attention. Are you okay? Her hand runs through my hair as she sits down next to me. Am I sitting? No. Yeah. As she slides up. Slides up next to me? No. As she gets closer to me. No. Her hand runs through my hair. I shake my head and show her what it says. Her hand goes to her mouth. I don't like that. No. Her eyes go wide. Eyes go wide, mouth agape. Shock runs across her face. There we go. I don't like reusing words. I especially don't like starting sentences a bunch with all the words in it. That was nonsense. I don't like starting sentences with the same words. I don't being like, I did this, and then I did this, and then I did this, and then I did this, or me, her, she, is, whatever. I don't like starting within the same paragraph, multiple sentences with the same word. I try for every single one to always have differences. So that way it flows a lot better. It reads a lot less stilted. My buddy who got me involved in the organization sent me a new hit. He knows I'm out of the game, but this one is different. It is someone we know. A friend. What are you going to do? I do not know. So, this is the little blurb that I've kind of written out. So ideally, they're going to go from eating brunch with Click. They're going to have a conversation about an upcoming war memorial that's being built in the Ren. And Click wants main character to give the opening ceremony speech. He is reluctant, still not wanting to openly speak about the war. However, after brunch, Rebecca takes him to his therapist, and he describes one of his traumas from the war, but is vague about the dream. The therapist recommends he gets back into activities that help. Reaches out to friends, goes out. This is where I'm changing. One of them pulls him aside and tells him about their contract they'll roll out, mutual friend of save their friend. He reaches out to his friend, goes out. The friend pulls him to the side and tells him your contract that rolls out. There's his. I'm pretty help him right on the right side. Yeah. So he's gonna get the text. He's gonna be like, but I can't do it. I can't take another hit. I can't. He's gonna try to ignore it. He's gonna try to power through. Actually, shit. I think I gotta change this. So normally I'll write the blurb before the chapter starts. Like I'll put down a couple lines, and then I'll write the blurb. However, I wrote the blurb before this to give myself a rough outline mentally, and then I started writing, and I think it just flowed. So it's I think I gotta. Come on, man. starters, not take a contract where I do not kill. Where cannot take a contract that will not lead to killing. Sorry, new chair, terrible chair. My other chair is in my other room. Okay, cannot take a contract that will lead to cannot take a contract that will not lead to killing. That doesn't flow at all. I cannot take a contract that cannot take a contract. For starters, not killing the target while on contract is a huge issue. Those hits are very specific and high priority. On the other hand, gosh, I can't stand this music. I mean, it's not bad, but man. One of these days I'll find something better. Alright. Alrighty, on the other hand, I have to do something. Though getting to the east is significant easier when the organization is coordinating it and for it. My side, rubbing my temples. Okay. Comes my hand and leads me back into the bedroom. We sit down on the bed and she starts massaging my shoulders while I think. I need to go, but I made it clear I was retiring. They may know something is up. Inversely, I come back from retiring just to fail a mission. Things could become much worse. Already my reputation is on thin ice. Declaring myself a pacifist after the mission is not a great way to get pay raise. Declaring myself a pacifist after a mission is not a great way to get more contracts. There we go. There's no real pay raise. I mean, they're all paid based on contracts. It doesn't matter. There's no rank. There's no any of that. Okay. Smush me. Becca kisses the top of my head softly. This guy.
cleaning the tune fresh out of high school and motivated. Became a sort of ranger together. Afterwards, he left for the 82nd. I continued on to SFS. We ran into each other during my deployment to India. And that was the last time I saw him. Good kid. He was really into crystals and Eastern medicine. Always thought it's strange, but understandable. My time in the commune taught me of alternative medicine, alternative approaches to things. I know he smoked before he joined and got after the deployment. He never got any paperwork. I even got paperwork squared away. And last I heard was he moved back and started working as a delivery man for some company. Getting close. Oh man. Company. She continues to work on my traps or away at the attention. Ease up. I think you should ask Click about all this. In my opinion, you should do it. But there are a lot more details to unpack. One like him would have a better in it to do. He could help fund you to go rescue a rescue mission. Only issue is if I do not take someone else will. Meaning I will be aiding and abetting a wanted criminal, which is a crime. Her turn to sign. But if I go off mission, it could also be seen as a crime.
Stupid Google. Don't tell me my writing's wrong. I wrote it. It's right. Alright.
Damned if you do, damned if you don't. Any way to get a hold of him? I shake my head. Any way to get a hold? A hold. A hold versus a hold.
I'm Googling it right now.
Google!
Yeah. Alright. A hold is an informal term, often used in a phrase get a hold of, meaning to obtain or contact information. A hold refers to a grasp or control. Okay. Yeah, that's what I thought. Stupid Google. To get a hold of him. Got up. Alright, cool. Any way to get a hold of him? Shoot my head. Not even with Morrison's help. Nope. From what I saw of the contract, he is off grid. The outskirts of Atlanta. Hard to say what gang. Against mission brief, just so if you like these, a list of, lists him as a courier for hire. So, like, the friend, pretty much what happened to him is he smoking dope after he got out, as one does, and had a friend of his who was like, "Hey, dude, I have some friends who also want to smoke some dope, and you have a car. Do you mind driving me over there to deliver them some dope?" And he's like, "Yeah, dude, of course." So he drives his friend, and soon his friend starts asking more, and then eventually he's like, "Hey, dude, like, do you think you could go deliver this?" And him being kind-hearted and a little naive is like, "Yeah, of course." Starts delivering drugs, and then soon goes from weed to Molly, from Molly to cocaine, and suddenly he's delivering a whole slew of drugs, and all he thinks is he's just helping the party because he's not the one seeing the money. And then he inadvertently becomes a courier to a massive drug operation through a mutual friend, essentially, who is not a good friend, obviously. And then he goes one day, "Oh crap, I think I'm breaking the law right now. I think this is bad. I think I need to get out of here." And he tells his friend he's done. And then the friend threatens to kill him. And then the mob goes, "Hey, we'll just start paying you for this, like a bunch of money. And if you don't accept it, we'll kill you. Like, we know who your family is, we'll just murder them. But if you do this for us, we'll protect them." So he gets caught into it and pretty much becomes a courier for a couple massive drug operations and doesn't know how to get out. And they put a hit on him because he's been unknowingly ferrying like fentanyl and very dangerous drugs that have been killing people. and he is like the known link. So they want to basically capture, interrogate, and kill. Poor guy. Poor situation. Bad. So, courier for hire. Hence that information. Resign Tandem. I kiss her hand. How much? Software. Stand up to this. Turn around. Full kiss. Nice finger. Counting the stress away as best we can. Part stand up. We get dressed for brunch. When Click was first building the Wren, he decided that there needed to be a large hill with his house top, so he could have a castle style. His things on top. This way, he could create a castle for his house and have dominion over the area, like those rulers of old. Always the eccentric, he sprung a significant amount of funding into just to essentially moving a mountain, albeit a small one. Now, the Bakken castle stands imperiously in the territory. Swinging rooms and outdoor gardens. House traveling artists, scientists, and politicians. We eat in the grand hall. A shocking 30-foot tall ceiling. Grand oak table in the middle. From this a beast fit for a king. Meats, cheeses, bread,
dips, sauces, vegetables, and fruits. Fill the baskets and plates. Plates are passed in style, with each person dishing out delicacies for the others. This way, all encouraged not to be greedy, but to give plentifully. One of the many ways that designs his leaders to promote community and engagement. I think this is the first time we're meeting Click. Let me see. Control, click. Nope. We've met it before. Dr. Argyle, talking. De facto mayor in the year the Renaissance Spock. Reads his novels. Plateau is the tallest in the year. Castle, cooking the father wished for, introduced culture to the world. We traveled everywhere together, creating an inseparable bond. I trust him completely. Waits for me to speak. I was taking a turn, tends to turn up the contract going. See, so he's goes. I aspect was it worth it? I paused. Was he? This whole time my mind has been wrapped around the dilemma. And I thought I'd gone towards whether it was worth it. It's fine. I'm not proud nor am I disgusted. I just don't know if it's worth it or not. How I told you this sure. I'm gonna be honest, I don't remember writing this, but I know I did. I was like, oh man, have I introduced Click? Like, I feel like I've introduced him, but I don't remember where. And like this strikes me as like, yeah, I wrote this, but like I don't remember it. Oh my goodness. Well, I have officially hit 300 pages. So of course I'm not going to remember what I've written every single page. Man. Chapter 5, Me versus Myself. That's not one I've read and like reread over months, I feel like. What a weird thought to have. That like I wrote this, like I came up with this idea. All of this is fabricated from the dome. And yet I'm just as surprised to see it in here too. And I'm going, wow, this is good writing. I like this interaction. This sounds exactly like Click. That's funny. Never judged a scene when I served with on my first tour. I shake my head. I use that phrase a lot. I shake my head. I don't know if there's like another way to say that. I go, no siree, Bob. No, I don't know. Whenever I get into the editing phase, I'll go through and edit it because it's really not important right now on if I can change the phrase if I shake my head to something else. But oh well. Tangent. Well, before the war, Mac was a beat cop in rural Illinois. There was a particular case he was assigned to during his first year. A local drug dealer had been charged for murder and was on the run. Oh, I do remember this. Okay. Oh, gosh. All right. They searched for weeks for this guy, contacting other towns, police departments, and searched for killer manhunt, and extended multiple counties. The importance and responsibility of it kept increasing. More important and higher. Oh, shoot. More important and increasing responsibility. Befell him. Soon the state got involved, and Mac found himself directing hundreds of people. Higher importance and increasing responsibility befell him. That reads a lot better. Soon the state got involved. It took 4 months to find the dealer, who at that point had been charged with another murder. Obviously, this person was, for all intents and purposes, evil. The image of him kept getting inflated, growing him into a stone-cold killer. Local news only worsened his image in the public eye. Searching for so long, Mac finally caught a break. An honest informant had reported a potential sighting. Confidence was frenzied, but he trusted his gut. They caught the dealer hiding out in a barn in the country. A huge standoff ensued, Mac leading the charge. Finally, the dealer gave himself up, walked out of the barn and attempted to turn with his gun. Sadly, the trigger-happy deputy saw this as a threat and shot him dead. Mac stared, wide-eyed. Mac caught him. He succeeded. Yet he didn't feel happy. If anything, he felt robbed. Justice was not done. The victim was still dead. Death did not rid the world of evil. It just introduced it in a different light. Hatred of perpetrators is never justified. One must learn to hate the crime, not the criminal. At the end of the day, we are all still people. I learned that the hard way today. Mac learned it at that barn. Don't take the wrong lesson from this. Though evil may still exist, it's never black and white. We chosen few who have been given the charge of justice must not take joy in it. Consciously choose to do it for the right reason, but understand you will be tainted. I never enjoyed killing, but I knew it was what needed to be done. No matter the victim, no matter the aggressor, trust in your beliefs and stray not from the path of righteousness. After all, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. I love that. That is a... That's exactly in the vein of what Argyle would say, too. Like, 100%. I mean, you'll read more whenever I get to the Life and Times, but, like, man, that's exactly like that. I like that a lot. I mean, I wrote it, so I'm biased, but, like, I like that a lot. And then that goes into Fayetteville, too, Electric Boogaloo. Alright. Because that right there is what convinces main character to give it a go and go on to kill number 2 for Fixer. However, he has a lot of learning to do. And though Click pretty much is like, ta-da! Here's a life lesson for you. He listens to it, but does not take it to heart. And he struggles with it significantly, more and more. And it's quite interesting to see how that struggle starts. Because, like, I go back to thinking about, like, Save the Cat, right? It talks about how at some point in the somewhat beginnings of your story, right, within, like, first couple chapters, you want a character to kind of be like, hey, dude, here's the moral of the story. Ta-da! And then main character's like, I'm down. I need arc. This is arc. I'm not going to learn my lesson without learning my lesson. So that, in a way, is kind of one of them where he's like, he doesn't exactly say there's no good or evil, right or wrong. He's a gray area. But he does allude to the fact of the necessity of it, but you shouldn't take joy in it. And kind of like gives you that back and forth balance. And you definitely can tell the Vietnam vet in him, for Argyle, and how Argyle gets to that point. But it's still a flawed reason. It's not 100% right. And never in this book do I give a, yes, hey, guess what? Like, this is
100% the moral philosophy that you need to adopt, right? That this will change your life. You should do just this, right? Because philosophy is very subjective. It's very biased. There's always differences, even, every single great philosopher has disagreed with every other great philosopher. That's why they are a philosopher, is because agreeing and disagreeing is a key part of learning and thinking. I present in this book questions, and I have him wrestle with these questions and these thoughts, and each of these characters deals with these things in different ways, and there is no right or wrong in terms of how they think and what they do and how they deal. However, for them, eventually, each of them comes to a point where they have a more, for them, right way of dealing with things. That's the arc. They're not perfect by the end of the story. They don't fix everything. There's no happy-go-lucky ending, because that's not real life. But do they learn and grow? Yes. Do they encounter philosophies and moral and ethical decisions that challenge their framework? 100%. That's the point. But also, it's fun. It's fun. The rest of this stuff is fun. But there's got to be a good arc. The character has to develop, or else it's just not that interesting. Because human beings love a good story about change. I am actually reading right now Beyond Good and Evil. It's, I'm probably going to butcher it, Nietzsche? Gosh, how do you pronounce that? Nietzsche, philosopher. He's a German philosopher. It's, Friedrich Nietzsche. It is. So I've talked about him in one of the podcast episodes. Nolan brought him up, if I remember correctly. Doesn't give me a pronunciation. That's hilarious. Nietzsche? I don't know. I'm totally butchering it. Friedrich Nietzsche. Anyway, guy with giant bushy mustache. But I'm reading Beyond Good and Evil right now because he offers a lot of interesting things that I'm going to incorporate more into this book. And I'm trying to read a lot of philosophical texts to get a good idea of how to challenge main characters' kind of moral and ethical boundaries, and where he draws the line in the sand and what he's okay with doing. Questions like, is good and, basic questions like, are good and evil real? Is there truly a black and white? Is there a gray area? What does that gray area look like? Is it morally justified to kill somebody? How do you morally justify killing? What is innocence? Is innocence something that should stop or prevent evil from befalling somebody? If they're innocent, should they be, is it okay to kill an innocent person? Essentially is what I'm trying to get at here, right? What makes it okay? Do the ends justify the means? That's a big one. Is, do the ends justify the means? So they're not like hard-hitting, deep, heavy philosophical questions, but they're ones that we will encounter in life. He's not sitting there and pondering the moral and ethical dilemmas of everything, but things like war, things like governmental oversight, things like crime, and affecting like lesser of two evils. That's where I'm trying to go with that, right? All of those topics that would realistically be something that we encounter within those scenarios is something he will encounter. And you'll see his thoughts on it and how he reacts and breaks down and builds up and everything between. Which is kind of the beautiful part of this book, is seeing somebody grapple with this and grow and be broken down and destroyed and rebuilt. And it's the story of humanity told through a very unique dilemma. But it's a universal lesson, and I think that's what makes it work. Alright, enough of my philosophizing. Let's get back to the writing. Alright. Doctor, I got on clicking back in.
has a presence that demands attention. Is very on the way he dresses, the way he holds himself. It is a magnet for the eyes. He will never blend in on the streets. Never go those around him. His is a gravity that pulls even the strongest. Is right. Strongest. Pulls even the strongest. Densest? Densest? Is that the strong and dense? Right on the table sits a coterie of policymakers and lobbyists. Beyond that is his wife, Rebecca, and me. That needs an Oxford comment. Yeah. Alright, his wife, Rebecca, and me. We are quite out of place, yet are clearly the most comfortable in this situation. After the food is pulled about, click, stands, leads us. Quick prayer. Or bless this food in the hands that prepared it. May it nourish our stomachs, souls, and spirits as we delight the company of our fellows. Bless each of these men and women, and may their days be fruitful. Amen. Short, sweet, to the point. Ish. Got to sprinkle a little bit of blessing there. It's funny because all of my main characters, which is 2 of them, I guess 2 of the 4, if you count book 3, are very religious. And it's almost like there are 2 directions in life that you can go whenever you encounter God. It's death or belief. Or nihilism. That's also another one. But nihilism is definitely death. Both of these men have encountered a heavy spiritual awakening. So, of course, they believe in God, like Tadoy. One of them saw a literal angel of death. The other one encountered a giant, ball of light that miraculously saved them from perils. Of course they believe in God, silly goose. So I'm definitely going to hear about, oh, when are they all praying? There's spiritual overtones. Of course there's spiritual overtones. We're talking about, killing people here. We're talking about morals and ethics and everything in between. Obviously religion's going to play into this. Plus, right what you know, I'm not trying to preach and say, yes, you have to convert, or yes, you should become a Christian. However, that's how these characters wound up. And you're reading about these characters. Do with how you will. Alright. Okay. He sits, we all dig in. Light music drips from the corner where Alright. Dude, gosh dang it, Google. Okay. Right, there we go. Just in the corner where a man sits playing a harp. One of the living musicians. That's my guess. I do not recognize him. No. Shut up, Google. Alright. The food is delightful and the music puts me at ease. The picture knows how to build an atmosphere. It's the food, grains, and the wine. The mimosas are drink. Conversation fills the air. At the end of the drunk? Are drunk? Mimosas are drunk. Isn't drink versus drunk? I have to ask. Drink is past tense of drink. I drank a glass of water. Drunk is the past participle. I have drunk 3 glasses of water today. Okay. Is this a past participle? As the food wins and the mimosas are drunk. Correct. That is a past participle. Alright. Freaking dang a participle. Alright, food wins, the mimosas drunk. Here. Mostly of them high order. There's some of seriousness. Rebecca mostly speaks with his wife. Now, listen. When it is deemed to move on, clinks his knife against his clinks a knife against his glass. May I have your attention, please? As you all know, today we are gathered to discuss the War Memorial in the Ren. I've had many artists create sculptures and murals that commemorate the memories. We do not yet have a proper memorial. Each of you brings forth things from your respective agencies. Show one at a time. Present your ideas. He looks to the first group on his right. Guess they're head of the table to the right because we're sitting to the left. Cool. Which goes right. First. And clears his throat. Let's make a second. The rest of the bunch stands up and clears his throat As you know, I'm not going to do another as you know. We represent the Veterans of America. Yeah, Green Veterans of America organization. Which is dedicated to promoting the welfare and general service, general aid of our veterans. I'm just gonna put like fighting force, right? Veterans works. And of our veterans. Our proposal is a approved is a park filled with statues and sculptures representing each major war and subsequent battles. Between them will be walkways with bricks denoting the names of the fallen. The center will be a large fountain that has 3 tiers, one for each World War. Trees, bushes, and flowers will be planted throughout, symbolizing symbolizes. He lays out a map, a few pictures of computer generated models. Like shows them to us, and they are not a good proposal. Let's hear from the rest before we decide. The group sits down and the next group starts their presentation. I tune out and start the movements. Everyone else considered three names to look at is also, even though still sits in my mind. Rebecca nudges me and whispers in my ear. But man is just trying to achieve so smile. not. I was gonna have her do something, but I don't really know what she would do in that situation to try to cheer him up, apart from try to joke again. And honestly, it's kind of a heavy topic, so joking about it is like not the most ideal. Who knows? Okay. Not convinced, but with nothing more to offer, she turns attention back to the next presentation. In total, 5 projects are shown. Banks them and sends them into the sitting room while we deliberate. Personally, I thought it would be lovely. However, the museum, well, I totally, yeah. Too many vowels, man. Words with a lot of vowels. I mean, I'll still use them, but man, don't ask me to spell them. Boulevard, bureau, bureaucracy, poo. Alright, what do you think? Nice wife. Doors. That. Sculptures seem a bit much. Perhaps if we had annexes with art and engravings, that would be more interactive. His wife suggests, though, that would be two separate people working together. What is it? How does it not know that I'm trying to spell separate? It's like, you got one vowel off. It's those vowels, man. I suck at them. Alright, low. That would. So, two separate teams would be working together. Hard to say how the funding for that would work, or who would be in charge. He nods his head at this and looks to Rebecca. Greenery and flowers are symbolically better than stuffy door displays, though they are not weatherproof. I think with nature weatherproof. Waterproof, although they are not weather resistant. consistent. I think with nature partially claiming the structures, it would give a regression. Perhaps we move forward with the axes. Have them make an image as seen from above. Maybe a flag or symbol of peace. Click the right side, turns to look. Take no time for an answer. Okay, with whatever you decide, as long as the intention is right. How to keep the objective standpoint and the audience that I would not go. It looks at me confused. Okay. Well, I'll go ahead and move with the image style in the park. Design some overhead. Needs to get a full proposal up and approved by our two offices. One last thing. Also, ask this. This man's way, but click interrupts my thoughts. Don't want to expand eloquently more than that. But you are the ones most decorated for and major representative of the brand's lifestyle. You are poster boy. One more time. Doesn't like. It thinks Ren is a name of a person and not a place. So the Ren. It doesn't like that. It's like, Right. You are our poster boy. are to business, though being summarized in post-structural is preference policy rates or just don't just want to eventually and so click to find me after he is done. The gardens are quiet today. After sun, it's birds and light. Simple stone benches. Thoughts. So putting this sounds. Well, we've officially passed 300 pages. We only wrote 4 right now, which is less than I normally do. In terms of like actual sitting down and writing, not for streaming. That's pretty on par. I tend to talk a lot. But yeah, I've been pretty productive with this as of the last couple of weeks. I think it was last week I wrote 60 pages in like 2 days, and my wrists hurt so bad when I was done, but I was able to cross the threshold of finishing part 1, which is a huge thing. I wanted to finish part 1 in this time I've had over here, and I did. And now I'm cruising with part 2, and already writing some on book 2 and 3 as well. I'm hoping to, like I was talking about last video, get into the draft 1 phase with part 2, and hopefully be done with draft 1 phase with part 1 by the end of this year. I think with how hectic my schedule is going to be in the next couple of months, my writing is going to kind of be back burner, but once that's done, it's going to be forefront again. I've been kind of working college certifications, stuff like that, so that's kind of taken up spare bits of time, but I've been able to sit down and really nose the grindstone of this. I'm hoping by the beginning of next year that I can have this into the publishing phase and hopefully getting self-published soon. That being said, we'll see. Maybe it's faster, maybe it's slower, I don't know. Time will tell. I'm going to continue in this next kind of week before I move, cruising with this. Hopefully get another live stream done. We'll see. I'm really bad about it. Tomorrow, hopefully I'll be recording episode 6 of podcast. But again, who knows? Time isn't real. It's hard to tell.
But thank you for joining me for another relaxing, chill live stream of you watching some dude write a book, or at least attempt to. And we will see you next time, thinkers. Till then, stay thinking.